Welcome to Social Political Photography Week. So, this week is going to require you to do a little bit of thinking and a little bit of searching within yourself. So, all of us have different kinds of viewpoints in this world. And what we are going to be doing is showing that visually. So, for example, the image on the left is about the female standards of beauty, and we can see that in the lines and marks of her face. If we look at the image on the top right, this image, if we break it down visually, we're looking at each individual piece and part. So we see two little kids watching a TV, and the TV itself says, "Don't think." So all of those visual hints and clues tell us what their message is. Maybe their message, their political message here is that TV is brainwashing, or TV is very influential on people. Similar thing in the bottom right hand corner, you have a person outside reading a newspaper that's on fire. So you need to ask yourself, okay, what are your visual hints and clues here? So our visual hint and clue is that the newspaper is on fire, and that a person's reading it. So it could be about how there's so many bad things happening in the news, that we feel like everything's kind of falling apart. So, whatever you decide to do for Social Political Week, you really want to make sure that it's something that you feel passionate about and that you are very much able to visualize it. So, for example, if you like journalism and you want to take actual pictures of things that you see in the world that you think is maybe not right and that should be fixed. So, for example, this homeless man here, take pictures of that. For pictures like this, I would consider doing like a telephoto lens. This picture here, it's really important to include your visual hints and clues. So if we look at this image, and if it was just a woman here, it wouldn't read as a social political picture. In fact, it would be slightly inappropriate for our photo class. But the fact that there is a price tag on here, and then there's that small text in the bottom right-hand corner. If we read it, it says price check, $32 billion is generated annually by the human trafficking industry. So the text helps us read the image slightly better. So this image here is about human trafficking. So our visual hints and clues are very important. You don't have to use models in your pictures. There's ways around doing social politicals without them, but looking at images is going to help you with this week. You can use as much or as little photoshopping as you want. So for example, this was an advertisement for a women's organization, and the whole concept here was Googling certain things. So this is about stereotypes and the perception of women. And if we look at the fine print, their message is on here. Women should have the right to make their own decisions. Women cannot accept the way things are. So it might be important for you to not only incorporate those visual hints and clues, but to also have some text. So you might be utilizing the text tool in your apps or in Photoshop this week. Here's another example, but on the opposite end. This one is about stopping racism. So again, it's the concept of showing the Google search bar. And again, it's usually using visual hints and clues and text together to make that statement. So for example, if it was only that Google search bar, it would be kind of inappropriate for our photo class. But the addition of the message that combating racism requires reflection on channels that can poison your mind and judgment, that's really important. Here's another actual live journalism photo on homelessness. If we look at the image on the left, initially we're kind of questioning what's going on. So if we break down the visual hints and clues, we see a skeleton reading a book that says protect and survive, We can kind of see there's like icons of a family on there. Um, we can maybe think about, is this like a person that is joining the military in order to protect their family? There's all kinds of visual hints and clues in here. And I want you to kind of look at that image a little bit more because I don't want to give up the actual meaning to it. Image on the right might be about abortion or letting go of a child by putting it up for adoption. You can shoot in color or black and white. I want you to pick things that you feel passionate about. So, for example, the image on the left may be about social media and its effect on somebody and how you're just over consumed and overwhelmed. And that's shown visually by the words that are in the artwork. The image on the right could be about maybe putting on different faces for different things, or it could be about depression and how depression is inside yourself and that visually outside you may appear as a happy person. Image on the left here might be about suicide, and it's kind of a vague image on purpose. And we can see that there's old shoes, there's water, there's a couple dying flowers here. So it leaves the viewer kind of open to interpreting on its own. And those kind of pictures are pretty good for social political as well. Image on the right is something similar. So we break down the visual hints and clues. We see an athlete, possibly a basketball player. We see kind of a noose here, but it's not over his neck, it's over the basketball in the hand. So, what is this saying about this image? Is it about, feeling the pressures of an athlete? Is it about, what is it about, really? So you just have to look at your visual hints and clues and try to interpret that on your own. Here's another one that has a lot of visual hints and clues. So we have this teacher like looking person. She has red tape X'd over her mouth. She is reading a book, and on further inspection, if I read it really closely, I think it says the Bible. And then there's a thought bubble on a chalkboard that's empty. So if we put all those visual hints and clues together, this could be about the freedom of religion and speech in schools, perhaps, just to kind of give you an idea of how people interpret these visual images and clues. This image here is a good social political image. It might need a little bit of oomph, a little bit of text. So this could be about abortion. This could be about cloning. And we just don't know because we don't know enough about this image. All we see are all these similar looking babies in a bowl. So what are they saying? Maybe it's even about adoption. Maybe it's about whatever it is. But this one definitely needs some words to help the viewer decide what kind of issue you're addressing. If you're thinking about issues like bullying, think about that in an abstract way. We shouldn't see just an obvious image of a person getting bullied. So, this person, this photographer, approached it a different way. So, they used matches and how you can see how they're positioned. They're all kind of standing together except for one. And that one by itself is literally burnt out. So it's a really interesting, unconventional way to show bullying, but it's effective in its message. And if you want to put text on images like this, you're more than welcome to. This image could be about a bunch of different things. And with all the things that are going on in the world today, you can kind of interpret this image how you want. The image on the left here, it says we see Snapchat. It says open 10 seconds, 24 hours, or forever. And then the fine print here says, I probably shouldn't have sent that text. Good thing it disappears, right? So, reading that fine print is super important to determining what this is about. So, this is a social political issue about privacy and Snapchat and putting things online that might be personable or inappropriate. Um, it might be a social commentary about how we overshare our information. Image on the right here is it says, how many cigarettes a day does your child smoke? Obviously, no like child does the smoking, so where are they getting it from? And they're getting it from secondhand smoke. So visually, you don't see a mom smoking in front of the kid. You see this really interesting image of a baby bottle with cigarette butts and smoke coming out of it. Now, if you're trying to achieve the same kind of picture, this could be easy to achieve in the fact that you just put cigarettes in a baby bottle. And then to get the smoke, you could do actual smoke, or you can use a Photoshop smoke brush. If we look at the image on the left, that could be about, it says, not your toy, help uh, in child marriage. So if we read the fine print, this could be about arranged marriages. Image on the right, we see stop the oppression of women in the Islamic world. So we see the visual oppression represented by the bars that kind of look like jail cell bars going across her face. This one here could be about Mother Nature and that there's this overlapping helping hands kind of protecting Mother Nature. And your social political issues, they don't have to be 100% serious. They can be on a little bit of the humorous side. You could be mocking a certain social political issue. So we see this image of a school bully, but what's humorous and funny about it is that it's a grown man bullying a little girl. This image here can really speak to a lot of you guys, and the fact that this is probably about how maybe social media kind of turns people a certain way. So you see all these colorful, bright, individualistic looking people going into the cell phone and coming out all the same. You can address various issues, like, for example, animal cruelty on the left, or maybe on the right, you choose a more vague subject matter, such as feeling like a number, or maybe cloning, or things like that. The image on the left is text is super, super important here. Um, it's talking about like humans and the kind of sensitivity of humans. Image on the right is about who like women are, what is femininity, your identity as a woman, and the just consumption of these beauty materials in order to so-called become a woman. Here's another humorous image based on obesity. And what's kind of ironic and funny about this one is that you have Spider-Man, who's supposed to be lean and fit, but he is a little overweight, and you can address obesity that way. This image here is maybe about women not being able to have a voice, more specifically, maybe a Muslim woman, because we can kind of see there's like a head wrap going around her hair. To achieve this kind of look, you do want to use the cloning stamp tool and take portions of her face and kind of run that over her mouth. This image here is a two-part image, so you would need to take two images and put them together. This shows the like stereotypes and the differences between two different images of the same person. This one here is about abuse and how we see this man's arm hushing the woman. The woman has small, subtle details of kind of a bruise around her mouth and a black eye. This one here is an anti-texting while you drive campaign, and it says, don't talk while she drives. This one here, it says, if you don't pick it up, they will. And it's all about littering and how animals eat our trash. And you can clearly see that this is a dead bird, and inside has all this plastic. You can see lighters, bottle caps, just trash. There's no real food inside of him. Image on the left is property of society, and that's shown with the barcode over the mouth. The image on the right says, you wouldn't bathe in this, then why should marine life? And that's a commentary about pollution. This one here is a little more abstract thinking. So you see a coffee cup and kind of like a handcuff looking image. So it might be talking about how you might be addicted to coffee, or your relationship to coffee is kind of intertwined and you're kind of shackled by it. And see, there's some more images, and we won't talk about all of them. The image on the left, I do want to talk about though. So this might happen to you. You might see your friends online posting these really happy images of themselves. They're living their best life, but inside, you like when you post images online, you're the curator, you're the artist, you're what everybody perceives. So if you look at this person painting this picture, they're really sad in real life. If you look at the image on the right, this concept here is that somebody just went down the beach and they took all the cigarette butts and they packaged them up. And it was a commentary about littering, more specifically cigarette butts. There's a lot of anti-smoking ones here. The one on the left is a different issue. They take on diabetes, and it says uncontrolled diabetes causes wounds to heal slower. I don't know if you guys know that, but it is a fact. The image on the right says sugar addiction is the leading cause for obese diabetics, killing more people than illicit drug use. So this is a really shocking but simple image, and it needs that text to convey the social political message. Now, if you're really struggling with Social Political Week, I would recommend using one of these images and recreating it, or finding something on Pinterest or Google and recreating it. You don't have to create your own idea. The French fries says the obesity death rate is overtaking cigarette smoking. The image on the right is about saving paper. Image on the left is about obesity again. Same thing with the image on the right. Pop has a lot of sugar. That one probably could have used maybe some text to get their point across a little bit better. The image on the left is about cyberbullying. So you physically see these arrows kind of piercing this person and what it's doing to this person. Image on the right, again, about pollution. Image on the left is anti-smoking. Smoking dulls your senses of taste and smell. Image on the right says, just like mommy, children whose parents or siblings smoke are 3 times more likely to smoke than children living in non-smoking households. So if you really want that shock and awe value to your images, you could research some facts and incorporate them in your artwork. So this one here, I definitely wanted to show you because this is very relevant to your age group. So both of these images, and I took one male, one female, is about posting things on social media and how people today kind of live in a society where they tend to overshare, and how sharing these things can lead to problems later. So these 2 images here is about predators sounding a lot like a friend or somebody that really likes you. And this campaign here was to kind of promote awareness about predators online. This body, the series of work here is about if you read the images here, every report helps build a character until we catch them. So there are times where things go unreported and there's only pieces and parts of the story, and that if people would come forward, these guys would be caught. So this image here is several images spliced together. And if you read the fine print, they're all from different countries put together to make one facial image that spells tolerance. So this image is about accepting all different kinds of races from different countries. This image here, the fine print or the print in the middle says one child is holding something that's been banned in America to protect them. Guess which one? This is a super striking image. So if we read the fine print, we find out that the Kinder chocolate eggs were the ones banned. And this is a social commentary about why aren't assault weapons banned? And regardless what you feel about one subject or another, you're making your own social political picture. And we're not going to debate these at all. It's just it's an opportunity to kind of express yourself. So this person is anti-censorship because censorship here told a completely inappropriate story. So if this was not censored, his hands are probably around her shoulders and not what it appears like. This one says, what goes around comes around, keep the sea clean. And if you notice, there's trash around the sushi. And then this one here says, same dog, different owner. And this is about adopting a rescue pet versus just going to a pet store. So I know that was a lot of images and that was a lot to take in. When you do Social Political Week, I want you to pick something you're passionate about, have those visual hints and clues in your work. And then for some of you, you might need a fact or you might need text incorporated to get your point across. So if you have any questions, let me know.